welcome to the Shelly Studio, and today I am doing my ATCs, and this is day 15, I believe, and I am working with just some Artist Loft gouache paint. I always want to say acrylic gouache, but this is not acrylic gouache because this one is re-wettable and water reactive, so it's the real regular stuff, I guess. I'm not that familiar with it, so this is really just me playing around and seeing what I can create. And I end up just making a bunch of shapes. I really didn't have anything particular in mind, and it kind of reminds me of preschool, you know, triangles, squares, and circles. So I didn't like the fact that this kind of yellow-orange was transparent, and see, I reactivated the green by going over the top of it. So I decided to add some white to make it more opaque, and then not a fan of that color either. So this is where they start getting a little bit more depth because I add more color to them and they don't look as flat. But I think ATCs are a good way to experiment and try new things. So that's what I'm doing. And I decided to use up some of this paint, and I'm just putting it on some cards that I have sitting here, and we'll use those up later. Oh yes, and I smushed that on paper. That becomes a landscape scene, and that video is already up. Went up last weekend, I believe. And here I'm just trying to make this more fun, so adding doodles. Decided to pull out my Posca and just give it some more interest. So this next card is day 16, and I decided to do the June Artist Trading Card Challenge from Pick a Stick. And so this is really fast. I can't even tell you the steps. Attach, so I glued a piece of paper to another piece of paper. Text, so I stamped those words on there. And then pool, so I'm pooling the paint. Does it look like I'm pooling the paint? Okay, and then the color was rose gold. Well, I didn't have rose gold. I picked something that I thought looked like rose gold from my metallic watercolors, but it's a lot more coppery. It looks like copper. It doesn't look very rose. But that was the Pick a Stick challenge. And I decided it needed more, so we're putting on some white gesso just to make it interesting. And then I grunge it up, maybe a little too much. And so I decided to put some white to bring that spark of white back in. And then just finding something to add to it. So still thinking in the back of my mind about those prompts. I think I take a piece of book text. Yeah. And that's a dictionary. And I'm just gonna put it in the background behind these cute little butterflies. And we're gonna glue that on. And I kind of cover up my words a little bit. That wasn't intentional. But once it's down, it's kind of hard to lift back up. So we're just gonna leave it just like that. Add a little shading, and we're done. So remember that mop-up paint? Yeah, we're going to turn those into some flowers. And this, I believe, is day 17. And I'm just using a marker. Making some fun little flowers. And then I decided to take out some paint markers and like colorize the background a little bit, make it more dramatic. But I didn't want it all purple, so we are gonna try a few other colors. So this one's red and then yellow. And yeah, it's reactivating that gouache, so it's messing up my paint, so I have to keep drawing off on a piece of paper to get that other color off of my pen. Right, and just adding a little bit of white Posca. Decide to make a border. Okay, so then I decide this is a charcoal pencil, and I decide to do a little bit of shading around all the flowers to make them stand out a little bit better. And there's that one. So this next one is, what am I on now? Day 18. I decided to do a little bit of pen and watercolor. And this is not watercolor paper. I think it's like Bristol vellum, like really smooth paper. But I wanted to do it, so I'm just drawing a made-up flower. And I'm going to repeat it a couple of times, just on the edges, and then we'll watercolor it. So this does jump. I'm sorry. Probably stopped and I didn't realize it. I am just using a Schminke. It's not the professional one, it's the student grade one, I believe. I'm just adding some color. And I really like how this one turned out. Just add in a few touches, making some of those a little bit darker. And there we go. Alright, so this next one, this is a piece of card from a jelly printing session. I'm just going to turn these into ATC sizes and work on one of those. So that's just acrylic paint, like I said, from jelly printing. And I'm going to attach a little bit of Tim Holtz tissue. And this one is a real simple card. Most of the stuff was already done, but I really like how it turned out. Just stamping a little bit on there. I was trying to write, but it didn't work, so I ended up just scribbling a spot right there. And then sticking a bird on. And I do add a little bit more pen on there, just a Uniball pen. And we're done. Well, I hope you liked these videos. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, share on Pinterest. And if you're not already subscribed and you'd like to see more from me, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.